Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. The cut and thrust of politics is a wonderful thing to behold. Regardless of your political views or your alignment with any particular party, when you have one politician grilling another politician attempting to find the truth, it is something we must all take notice of. And in this light, yesterday we saw Joanna Cherry of the SNP grilling Rishi Sunak, of the Tories, obviously, Prime Minister. And it's always good when you see those in power being held to account. And she questioned him quite vigorously, shall we say. And it turns out now that he's got little hurty fee-fees over it, and he's stamping his very, very tiny feet, because he is only about that tall, and saying that, oh, your questioning was bad and wrong, because you might put people at risk. Oh. And this was over the questions she was asking. Questions, of course, which she is entirely empowered to ask. Indeed, is almost, I would suggest, obliged to ask, because the truth must always be set free. On these matters, covering things up is wrong. Now, this was in a committee. It was in the liaison committee. And she was questioning Sunak on sort of asylum, on Afghanistan, and on things like that. And he really, really didn't like the fact that she was asking very awkward, pertinent questions. And he's complained. He doesn't like it. And he really is quite angry that she dared to ask him. So we're going to have a look at this. And this is actually, you won't see this in mainstream media. This is on Yahoo News. I found it. But it's not in any of the main papers or anything like that. So for some reason, maybe the press have been got at and they don't want this to come out. Whereas Yahoo, being American-based, are free to publish. Who knows? Let's have a look to see why Joanna Cherry held Rishi Sunak to account, why he was very upset about it. Here goes. So here we are. Rishi Sunak takes issue with Joanna Cherry's questions in Westminster grilling. And I say this came out yesterday afternoon. But you won't find it anywhere other than Yahoo News. You won't see it in, any of the mainstream press. So we presume that perhaps the mainstream press have been got at by Number 10 because they don't want this coming out. But it is good to see. And I mean, I've got to admit, Joanna Cherry as an MP is actually quite good. I like her as an MP. Disagree with her stance on independence for obvious reasons. And I think she should be in a different party. And if she was in a different party, she would be very, very good in a different party. She needs perhaps to leave the SNP. I would suggest go to Tories. She seems very Tory-oriented, very sort of right of centre in her views generally. But, you take your pick, and here she is. So we'll have a look at this. I'm just going to move this across a bit. There we go, easier to read. So, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak clashed with SNP MP Joanna Cherry as she questioned him on whether actions he had taken in government made him proud. The Tory leader attempted to suggest that Cherry was using rhetoric which would put MPs in danger after she pushed him on why his party had been whipped against preventing Afghans who have supported the UK armed forces being sent to Rwanda. Now, this is an ongoing problem, is the immigration problem, especially the illegal immigration, but generally immigration is the problem. The dilution of our heritage and national identity by mass immigration by people who refuse to integrate and adopt our ways and history and cultures. And so this is a genuinely fine question. And the particular they're talking about here, look, these Afghans have aided our armed forces. Do we owe them anything? And I suggest no, we don't. They would certainly be in a worse position if we hadn't gone in. They were benefiting their own country by assisting us. My view. Others will have different views. But that's beside the point. I'm not important. This is what's going on. Anyway, she first appeared as part of Westminster's liaison committee in her capacity as chair of the Human Rights Committee. And Cherry asked Sunak, the interim Prime Minister of Pakistan has referred to the UK's Rwanda policy in defence of his country's decision to expel from Pakistan hundreds of thousands of Afghans who fled from the Taliban regime. Are you proud that he used your Rwanda policy to justify doing it? Now, I would say of the Pakistan government that they are entitled entirely to throw non-nationals out of their country. Why shouldn't they be? Every country should have the right to throw non-nationals out. That's the whole point, surely, of being a nation, having borders. Why else do we have front doors on our houses? Is to keep those who shouldn't be in the house out. Anyway, she said, are you proud that he used your Rwanda policy and justified doing that? Sunak said he was obviously not responsible for what politicians in Pakistan said, calling Cherry's question bizarre. Cherry then said there's evidence that quite a high number of people fleeing the Taliban regime are reaching the United Kingdom's shore on small boats. Are you proud that your members of parliament were whipped against voting for an amendment that would have prevented Afghans who had aided or supported His Majesty's Armed Forces in Afghanistan from being sent to Rwanda? Now, I'd send them away. If the situation in Afghanistan is so bad they feel they want to leave, all these young men of fighting age, why aren't they staying in Afghanistan and fighting and getting rid of the regime that they're fleeing from? If it's that bad, change it. Don't run away. Have a revolution. Change it. We live in the West the way we are because of a whole series of revolutions. We didn't run away. We stayed and fought, and we changed our country. Every country in the West has had a revolution at some point or another. Sunak responded, I really disagree with that characterisation, given we've just had 3 debates in Parliament about Opposition Day debates and what they do to MPs and to the intimidation. I think characterising that is deeply unhelpful. The Prime Minister's reference was to an SNP Opposition Day debate which saw Lindsay Hoyle ignore official advice, change parliamentary rules and allow a Labour motion to be debated when it damn well shouldn't have been. Hoyle insisted that a prior meeting with Keir Starmer was not had not influenced his decision, and I don't believe a word of that. I think obviously he did. Anyway, Cherry went on. She said she resented Sunak linking her question to that issue. She said, I have to say, Prime Minister, I resent your characterisation. I asked you a perfectly reasonable question. There are people coming to our shores who have previously aided and abetted our armed forces in Afghanistan. And you whipped your MPs against an amendment which would have prevented them from being deported to Rwanda. Now, it's a fine question, I agree. Now, my personal view is that, yes, they should. I'm disagreeing with Cherry on the outcome. If they're here illegally, then they go to Rwanda. That's fine. Send them all to Rwanda. That's the price of coming to this country illegally. If you want legitimate immigration, let's see what qualifications you've got. You can obviously speak English. You're willing to integrate, etc. They're not, obviously. But when they keep sending boatloads of men of fighting age, I think enough's enough. So Joanna Cherry's actually wrong in what her beliefs on this are. But I agree with her that she should be questioning it. And I find it odd that Rishi Sunak objects to the questioning. Then he goes on about what he's got. He said that he offered different schemes. I've discussed this in committee in the past. And then he blah, blah, blahs and gives some political non-answer. Elsewhere at the committee hearing, Sunak refused to comment on former Prime Minister Liz Truss's claim about a deep state, words which are widely seen to be part of a far-right conspiracy theory. Sunak would only say the comments were questions for Truss, quipping that he would not tell MPs if he were part of the deep state, which is fair enough. But yeah, there we go. I mean, this is one of those things where you agree with her questioning it, you just disagree with what the point she's trying to push. But it's odd that he should try and link her questioning to other more vigorous matters and then link it to the threats to MPs. No. You're there. If you don't like these questions, Rishi Sunak, quit. If you can't stand people questioning you, stop being a politician. Well done to Joanna Cherry for questioning it. It's nice to have the truth come out. I may disagree with you, but I agree with the right to question. I'm coming up. Politicians must always be asked questions and they must always be forced to answer them. And I have a deep distrust of any politician who fails to answer a question clearly, precisely, and when especially a yes or no starts prevaricating, deflecting and refusing to give an opinion. They are liars. The moment they cannot say yes or no to a yes or no question, you can't trust them. You can't trust a word they say. They're all liars. Every single one. No one in Parliament ever speaks the truth. The way you deal with it is you have to learn to sift through what they're saying to extract those little bitter pills of truth that sometimes come out unexpectedly. I shall finish there. Thank you very much for watching. Do please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.